welcome. This is Must Ask You a Question. And a lot of us are super exhausted from being at San Diego Comic-Con, but that's not going to stop us from being here and telling you guys what went on, at least as in regards to our interactions with what went on there. This is not going to be a boring show or a recap, just random news, but to talk to you about, from a retailer's point of view and a publisher's point of view, what it looked like to us, just like always. And then at the end of the show, we'll have a really ridiculous question where we just ask a question that doesn't make any here nor there about the comic book industry, but we'll let you know a little bit about us. I'm going to bring Joey on.
How's it going?
Because we don't really know whether the rest of the scout crew is actually, alive, awake. They're just in cryogenic sleep, trying to recover from last week.
Right? Yeah, it was a lot. There was quite a bit. I mean, especially from Scout. James usually sits in this seat with you, and there was a ton of stuff that drops for at San Diego from Scout. Tons of brand new titles, debuts of titles that we had out there with ash cans. Chispa Comics finally dropped.
That was I was excited about Chispa.
Yeah, so tons of really cool stuff. So I'm sure they're very, very busy. I do know that James is probably going to be home for like 1 or 2 days, and then he's going back out next week, and then coming back and doing it all over again, and then going back out. So he's going to be very busy. So there may be times that I may have to sit in, or you might have another guest. So
it is very exciting to finally be back in the kind of normal-ish schedule of conventions, but not all the conventions are in their normal time. San Diego happened in its normal weekend, which made me very happy. But it's also some of the other ones are compressed, like CP2 and.
So you went to San Diego Comic-Con, right?
Did.
So this is the first big con. They're the first big San Diego con, because I know they did like a little half-size one in between. But and they did one online, which was pretty cool for everybody. But how did you feel going back to San Diego Comic-Con after like 2-3 years now?
Yeah, I was so happy. It didn't feel that different from a regular full convention like pre-COVID. The differences were obvious. They made us feel as safe as they could by having less tickets available, so it was less crowded on the sales floor and everywhere else, which was awesome. Easy to get around. You had to go and have a wristband that showed that you've been inoculated or that you had a negative test, which was as good as you can get really in this day and age to say I'm not a walking contagion person.
Interesting. That's very cool.
Everyone wore masks. So I only saw a very few people be about it. So hopefully we have.
That's what I was going to ask. I was like, with all of those, I don't want to use the word restrictions or those standards set in place. How did people react to it? And I'm glad to hear that people just were like, you know what, we want to enjoy this. We want to be positive. This is the way it's going to be. Yep. Why not? Listen. How many times before the pandemic, all of us complained about getting con crud, right? Nobody was like, oh, be careful with the con crud. Make sure you wash your hands and take sanitizer and don't shake a lot of hands, right? We hear our comic book creator friends saying that all the time. But you know what I mean? So why not be okay with, implementing some of that? You guys were already doing it anyway because you didn't want to come home with con crud.
Yeah. I mean, it made a big difference between if they didn't have those things in place, I really do think we would have seen a lot less celebrities show up, a lot less publishers, a lot less, guests of the convention. Because I know that there were still people that didn't feel comfortable enough to come out. They probably have people in their families that are high risk, so they made a pass this year. But it was wonderful for them to have done everything that they could have done as a convention and make it as safe as possible.
That's pretty cool, and I'm glad that we had news back, because before the pandemic, Marvel and DC actually announced that they were not going to be moving forward with San Diego Comic-Con, right? And that's when they started doing their own thing and announcing their own stuff at their own events and stuff. But this year we got tons and tons of stuff from both of them. Like one big huge one, we had freaking The Rock come in full Black Adam garb, and like it was pretty freaking cool. I wasn't there, and I was not, and I don't think I know anybody who attended that actual panel, but I did see a ton of stuff from online, and man, it would have been such a cool experience to kind of see that again.
The thing that I thought was super special, it was like if you were talking about making history, other than being, you know, the first con back from a big pandemic, was that Boom got Hall H. So it was the first time we ever saw a comic book panel in Hall H. Keanu, of course, had a lot to do with that because it's his passion project. So I think that it's possible that next year, hopefully, we can see those kinds of things continue. Like maybe we'll see Eternus show up there.
That could be awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Eternus 1 dropped. It's going to be hitting shelves very soon. They announced it, debuted, all that good stuff, and they dropped a bunch of really cool exclusives and everything. And it's going to be dropping very, very soon. I wasn't prepared, and I didn't bring all that stuff up, all the information. I worked for Scout too, so I was just as busy as if I was at the con myself, like posting and receiving emails and receiving pictures from people who were there and things of that nature. Like they were doing whatnots. They had Andy Serkis show up. They had Joel David Moore show up for Don't F with Karen, doing some stuff. So it was really cool to kind of see that stuff.
Yeah, here's a good thing because our viewers are always interested in what it looks like behind the scenes. So what I noticed from what I know about publishers in general is that there is so much work that happens before they go to convention, trying to line up with, like for San Diego Comic-Con, lining up with their social media teams, what was going to be announced and when, so that could go out and the press releases to all of the places that press releases go. And then they have to talk to their own interior folks, which like you're the interior social media person. That all has to be coordinated, and you can't accidentally drop things before, you know, the movie got it. They'll get mad.
That's so absolutely true. The amount of secrets that I have like in my head and in my computer about Scout Comics that you guys would just, your mouths would just water. Like me just a couple years ago would have just loved to be in this seat, to be like, oh my gosh, all this stuff. Now I'm here, and I'm just like, you guys are going to be so excited. Like I knew about all this stuff that was happening behind the scenes for quite a while now, and we were partnering with Thunder Comics and their social media team to do some stuff. We ran a really cool giveaway during this time to give away some Eternus ash cans and a signed by Andy Serkis ash can as well. So
dude,
very, very cool. People were and you didn't have to, it was absolutely free to win, to enter. Like you didn't have to do anything special except for like comment and do something silly and fun. But it was really fantastic to kind of see all the fans surround that stuff and get back into con season.
Oh yeah. The other cool things that are behind the scene, things that no one thinks about, is like every con is different for how you can, like as a publisher or as a dealer even, how you get your stuff to the show. San Diego is a big union city, so you have to really like plan out what your decoration is going to be, who's going to put it together. Because believe it or not, there's like, you know, the most funny union I've heard of, honestly, other than the hanging union. There's a union that's for hanging things from the ceiling. There's a vacuumers union, so you can't vacuum your own floor. It's a huge coordinate. It's like some of these booths are like big cities that they get built, like 2-story buildings that they build in the middle of the floor. And I love the Scout design. They have got these really neat backlit, like I call them like skinny boxes. They build
the light boxes. Yeah,
they look so nice.
Yeah, those are you know, that like when you go into the cell phone stores and all that stuff, where they have those light boxes on the wall and stuff. Those aren't posters. Those aren't canvas. You know, those things actually slide out, and you put them right back in. You can interchange them and all that stuff. And they were actually doing that while they were at the show. They were interchanging their banners and stuff like that for each guest that came in and did signings and stuff, so that they had their IP and their brand right there. So it was really cool. And yes, you're correct. It takes a lot to put these things together. And when you go and see the final product, there was so many different hands that put it all together. And I do want to say right here publicly, thank you everybody who physically helped there, and digitally and remotely helped Scout Comics and Thunder Comics throughout this whole entire this last weekend. You guys did a phenomenal job. It was excellent.
By the way, we have a viewer, JD, who felt that we needed to know that he slept till noon and then had snickerdoodles. And I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I would have liked to sleep till noon. I don't know if my body's physically able to sleep till noon, but it sounds like a dream that I must acquire.
Yeah. Listen, it's a dream when I can sleep past 7 a.m.
Yep.
I have kids.
Your house. Yeah. Your house means that doesn't happen again until, and even when they become teenagers, it's hard to really sleep.
It's usually flips. You wake up early and you're yelling at them to wake up when they're teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Depends.
So get up already. It's noon. Come on. We've already had 3 breakfasts.
Are we hobbits?
Yes, we are. We're hobbits in my house.
All right. So what big news can you drop? Because I was there, so I actually didn't hear a lot of the news, except for if I walked up to booths and they were talking about things. I tried to have my face out of a phone and into the actual things that were going on.
So there's a ton of news. Obviously we got the Black Adam trailer that dropped. We had news that we might even see Amanda Waller in Black Adam. Ooh, that's a big one. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday Warriors tonight. The Fury of the Gods popped up, and there's some pretty exciting things that are in there too. Some Easter eggs, very, very exciting. But the biggest one that everybody's talking about is Wakanda Forever, and a couple of the last things that are in that trailer. There's some big spoilers and some big Easter eggs that were dropped in there. So that's a big one.
If you can make it through a trailer and not like either stand up and do like or cry, then you were made of sterner stuff than me.
Right, yeah. Very, very cool, exciting stuff. And definitely, if you guys want to talk about it and we're going to talk full spoilers, talk about Easter eggs and all that stuff on Wednesday Warriors tonight at 9 p.m. EST, right here on the EXP. And then there were some really cool comic books that were announced. The Riddler Year 1, that Paul Dano is even attached to this one. So he's gonna. I'm really excited because it still has this kind of voice that he had in the like the Riddler's voice that he has in the movie is going to be transferred to this comic book, and I'm just like, oh man, please give me more. A Batman Spawn crossover was announced.
I know. People asked me whether it was going to also have a Spawn, a Batman Spawn and a Spawn Batman like they did back in the day, and I was like, how do I know?
Right?
I don't know things,
Who
but
knows?
I don't know that kind of things.
But I have a Batman cover that is an homage to one of the Spawn covers. I'm just like, oh, we're gonna get some really cool homage covers, like back and forth. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so cool to see what they come up with. Very, very exciting. What else is we have some comments here. Well, to be fair, I wake up at 5 a.m., feed my cat, very loud, annoying cat, then go back to sleep.
That seems fair.
Right. JD the good Digiotter says, this is why you teach your child to chop wood when they turn 2. Dang, that's a strong kid to wield that axe.
There you go.
Oh, Wakanda, Waka Forever. Here we go. Here's one what we were going to talk about. Is the secret invasion footage out anywhere yet? All I can find is so listen, I'm going to talk about that on Wednesday Warriors tonight. So if you guys want to hear about that, we have all that information for you. 9 p.m. EST right here on the EXP. So don't leave this channel right now, but when we're done, go and find us and click notify me, and we'll talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about why there was a couple of things that did not pop up and we have information why, because there's major spoilers in them,
Oh, they can
and
do it now.
they were teasers, but they weren't trailers yet. So we're gonna talk about that. So just keep an eye out. I keep waiting for the Batman Zeus cover or crossover where he beats Zeus handedly. That's
He's gonna
interesting.
detection him, huh?
Super cool. Yeah. So there's a lot to talk about and unpack. Like,
You know, the things
I,
that were most surprising for me, I did actually hear some news. The
yeah.
thing that like I had to like look at it twice because I was like, what? Dynamite picked up Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck.
Yeah.
Are we in a
Oh
different
yes.
universe? This means we're gonna have a million different covers for those two books, and I'm not mad.
Yes. And maybe we could talk to Nick about that, right?
Yeah.
From Dynamic Forces. So that's very cool. We can talk to him about that and see what kind of information we can pull out of him.
I feel like we need to have like an interview just with him for all the stuff they dropped. Because I know
Yes, I think we should.
before,
I think we should.
yeah, before the show, he said that he was trying to put together, when I was talking about the press release stuff, that he had like 20 pieces of press release he was trying to get together. And I was like, what? You're not even going to be there. Why this? And he was like, you have no idea. And of course I didn't. Awesome. Every bit as awesome as he said.
And you know what? He's been very busy lately. He's not been. I was like, I usually get a few emails from him. I was like, he's not been sending me the same amount of emails that he has. That's why he was busy.
I don't really know
he
when he sleeps because I message him really late at night and he's
it's never. Business guys never sleep. Yeah, super cool. There is so much to unpack. There's a lot more. Like there's even stuff that I'm still finding that I overlooked. And I sat here for 2 days researching things, and I even like tried to filter in some of the stuff from friends that were actually there, and I'm like, let me know if you hear anything. So it's still kind of difficult to get every single piece of information out there.
Oh yeah. I think that people were holding on to their big news drops for the event. And then I think that kind of happens a little bit where it becomes a very crowded news market, because my news feed from my phone still is like new comic book news. It's like, and pictures of people being there.
Yeah, super cool. So what was your favorite? Oh, then here's my question. What was your favorite part of San Diego Comic-Con this year?
There are people that I've been what I consider close friends with, but I've never met in real life, that I've, interviewed multiple times. I'm a fan of their work. These are creators that I really genuinely look up to, but you don't realize you've never seen each other in person ever. I got to hug an awful lot of people that I've been waiting to hug for a long time, like Rich Rivera.
That's dude, Rich is so cool.
Good hug. Yeah, so it's to me, I know that seems weird when we're talking about a convention that was trying to keep people away from each other and save distance.
Right.
My biggest thing was close personal contact.
I understand. But I mean, when you guys are all like taking precautions, I mean, you guys are okay.
This is not the con food. No.
JD says obviously the best part of the convention center is not the con food. Hot dogs is the con food. Wait, I'm sorry. Did I read that wrong? That's part of the convention center food. Hot dog tastes amazing when you pay $20 for it. No, it doesn't, because it makes me mad, because I'm just like, I could have made this at home if you guys just allowed me to bring it in my bag with condiments.
I will verify that is true. The soft pretzel line was longer than the line for Chris Evans. And the battle for the last of them on the last day was real.
Like I need the meme. I need the meme right now, Kyle. If you're listening to me, make this meme right now. I need the one that has the pretzel line and Chris Evans line. You know what I'm talking about.
And Chris Evans trying to scoot over to the line, right?
Yeah. He's like, what the heck, man? Hey, man, it's just not his year, no.
I couldn't wait to get home, because they actually had a giant outside kind of like a virtual like walkthrough for Chris Evans' show on Netflix, The Gray Man.
Yes, that is on my list. Have you seen it yet?
We're 3/4 through it. We couldn't stay awake last night. We became old people and said we got to go to bed.
It's on my list. I'm going to talk about it tonight on Wednesday Warriors because it keeps popping up on my list and people keep telling me you got to watch it. That one and The Old Man, like on Prime, I think it is.
Yeah.
That one keeps popping up in my list too, and it's supposedly supposed to be very good. So I'm gonna take your word for it. And I'm gonna watch it, guys. I just don't know if I'm gonna watch it before tonight.
Chris Evans like pulls in true bad guy. Think Knives Out Chris Evans plus the cockiness of his portrayal of the Human Torch, and then you got it.
Yeah, awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah, I think he's in that place where he's like, I've been Captain America for so long. I need to step out of that and do some really great roles. Like he's done some really good roles since then.
Absolutely. And he uses potty words and my whole brain was like, language.
I love that. I think that's everybody when they say it, right? The memes that have been created since then.
And I will tell you, his mustache is a whole other character.
Oh,
he's playing something. His mustache is a whole other character.
So I don't know if you saw some pictures from the con, but James actually because he had to wear a mask, he was not going to hide his mustache, so he had a mustache on the front of his mask. Yep. I might have a picture that I could probably pull up somewhere in my phone or my where is it? Yep, there it is. It's in my phone here. I'll send it to my computer. I'll pull it up. Yes, this is live.
This is live.
Jason.
The other thing that happened is that the San Diego Comic-Con Masquerade, which is their big costume contest that's on the big stage, they also required people to wear masks on stage, which is unheard of. So in our case, we did Doc Holliday and Kate, and so I had to put we had real like hair mustaches, like the real deals. We put those on the outside of the mask. Yeah.
Here it is. We'll just leave this up and it'll feel like James is here with us.
Yeah, he just sent a message and said that he is still traveling. That is why he's not live with us.
He's still traveling. Yeah, he's I think he was back. He stayed for a little bit longer. He's got meetings and all that good stuff. When they can get James out to San Diego and LA, they keep him for a little bit. So and that just means that's good stuff, guys, because more things come from Scout when they have him in LA. So very cool. So James, what was your favorite thing of the Comic-Con? Okay, thanks. That's my favorite thing.
Famous people.
Seeing all your beautiful faces. That's what he says because he loves going to cons and seeing you guys come up to the booth and hanging out and seeing all the cool stuff that we have that Scout has to offer. That's his answer.
We got like 3 minutes if you guys have questions about the con, or we can dispel rumors about there was no people stabbed with pencils this year or.
Oh my gosh. So what's on the list today for any cool stuff that's in the shops today, Jen?
There was a bunch of cool things that dropped. My favorite thing, just it wasn't my favorite read, but it was my favorite thing to see. It was Chris Claremont's name on a book because he did. They dropped Gambit today, and then
nice.
Ron B, who I've been doing positive thoughts that he would be doing top books at both Marvel and DC, has got his first Detective Comics issue dropping today, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Kyle has a question. He says, who is the greatest Ninja Turtle and why is it Leonardo? That's
my lord.
Because he's got swords. Duh.
Whichever one dressed up like an astronaut. There's an astronaut figure. That was my favorite figure. It wasn't transformed. And Jackson asked the question, why don't you offer subscription for every title that comes out like a premium and keep the cards on file and charge and mail it? Keeping cards on file is a very difficult thing. Trust me, there's a lot of retailers that try to figure out how to do that. but I certainly can do it and send you a Square invoice every week. You just have to be paying the Square invoice every week because that's a lot of
Yeah.
books.
He had a great idea, and I don't just know how we would be able to handle this of a pull box for every title that comes out each week from Scout. We do already have the subscription box of every title that comes out that month, but I think that I just don't know how we would be able to do that and a pull box at the same time. So it's these things we gotta think about and how they would kind of be fulfilled and how they would look and things of that different. So it's very very difficult to kind of field that question there. But yeah, great ideas though. Keep coming, bringing them. It has every book that comes out every single month that we drop, and you get some incentives as well. Some web store stuff and that we have and all that good stuff. So it's a little bit very very cool. I know some people they just want the cover A's and stuff like that. So I understand how people are like, I want every book, but I just don't want all the covers, like the different covers. So
Jackson's down for all of them. By the way, Jackson, I really like your hat. I can't tell if it looks like it's maybe Superman, but
what you can do is reach out to Space Cadets and reach out to Jen, and she's a retailer who Scout has a partnership with, and I'm sure that they could probably work with you to do some kind of pull box there. I mean,
and I order directly from Scout, so I also get mine once a month, so it would look differently. It wouldn't be a weekly box; it would be a monthly. But I'm happy.
There we go. Cool, awesome. Thanks, Jen. I'll let you see us out, and I'll take this down because James probably doesn't want to.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us for I Must Ask You a Question. Join us on the regular by subscribing. You can hit the bell on Facebook or reminders on Twitch, or you can subscribe on YouTube, which I recommend because we've got a bunch of cool functionality coming up soon that'll allow you to do fancy things like have stickers or have early access to some of our content. You can be one of the cool kids in the room. Support Scout because they're awesome and they support me as a retailer, and that is an awesome thing in this industry. And thanks so much, Joey, for popping in and joining me. It's less fun just watching me talk.
Thank you. And make sure you guys are following the EXP. Just go to that notify me button, smash that bell like everybody likes to say, and you guys will be notified every time that a brand new show pops up. We have some cool shows today. We got my show popping up. We got Dan Wickline today too, I believe, right? We also have Comic Collectibles. And is there another one? Or is it just 3 today?
I think that might be it. So we got a shopping show, an information show. And if you're not watching Dan Wickline's show, you should absolutely just know that if he's talking about like books and TV and stuff that are out, he is going to give you every Easter egg and tell you the behind the scenes of everything. It's totally spoilery.
He talks about everything we talk about, but he goes deeper into those things. So if you guys want to have a deep dive into each topic that we talk about on Wednesday Warriors, Dan's your guy. So head on over to Dan Wickline and just type it in or type in the EXP and you'll find him there. What is it? Wednesdays? Is it Wednesday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Friday?
Most of the days he's got something going on.
Yeah.
And he has
check it out.
Voice. So if you want to have a voice to like, if you're having a rotten day and you just want to put something on in the background to soothe you, he's got the perfect voice for it.
Yeah. Very, very cool guy too. Thanks. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys. It's been a blast. Jen, thanks for having me.
See you guys next week.